and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alana and I live out of my 2006 Honda Accord, and I also work as a pet sitter. So in this video, I want to give you a cost breakdown of how much it costs to camp out of my car for a week and how much it costs to be in a house sitting job for a week. I'm not paying for the house sitting jobs, it's just like my personal expenses. Sometimes I get paid to do the house sitting jobs, but it depends. Anyways, starting with the car camping cost breakdown, I'm going to be using my camping trip in Wyoming earlier this year as an example. So I think I'll be posting this right after I finish posting all of those vlogs. So this was a full week where I went to the Rocky Mountain National Park and then I drove up to Medicine Bow National Forest in Wyoming. So there was a little bit of driving, and I did stay in a campground, which is something that I don't normally do. So there are a few abnormalities in this week's cost breakdown, but this is just reality. So I have my cheat sheet over here on the table, and I've added it all up, and I spent a total of $144 on food alone. Now I would say this is about $40 more than usual that I spend in a week. Normally I spend anywhere between $75 and $100 on food per week, but this week I met a friend for dinner one night, and then I also had Cracker Barrel one night, and then I also got marshmallows at this little mountain store, and so they were like $6 for a bag of marshmallows that should have been like $1.50. Anyways, there are a few abnormalities in this week's food spending, but as with everything in this video, it depends. So this week was 144, but some weeks are 75, some weeks are 100. It depends. Same thing with gas. In this week, when I drove from Colorado to Wyoming, I only got one full tank and one half tank of gas. And that cost me $64.66. I would say this is pretty average and even above average for when I'm house sitting, but overall not bad because I did go a pretty far distance and my Honda Accord gets great gas mileage, so I do save on gas there. Next is something that, again, I don't normally have in a week, but I spent $28 on camping and recreation. So $20 of that was the campsite fee, and then $8 of that I bought new propane fuel for my Jetboil. I've only ever bought 3 of those the entire last 2 years since I bought the Jetboil, so it's not a bad deal. $8, I boil water and make dinner almost every night, but yeah, that was just kind of an abnormal thing that I wouldn't normally spend money on, but the total for that week was $237.04. Oh, because the camping and recreation was $28.40. Sorry, math. So granted, about $70 of this was extra this week. Sometimes that extra $70 goes towards gas if I'm driving a long distance. And so I would say that on average, a week in my car costs anywhere between $150 to $300, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm seeing, and the activities that I'm doing. Obviously, I can keep it on the cheaper side if all I'm spending money on is gas and food, and I just sleep in parking lots and free campsites and don't pay for any kind of hiking stuff. Another thing in the hiking and recreation thing was the $2 like Rocky Mountain National Park fee. I do have my annual pass, so that's not included in this, but lots of different ways that camping in my car can vary, but that is the average that I spend. Now, the cool thing is I'm not always living in my car, so sometimes I get a break from paying for gas and even sometimes paying for food because I'm staying in somebody's house taking care of their pets while they're away. And a lot of times people will just tell me, eat whatever you want in the pantry, eat whatever you can in the fridge because otherwise it's going to go bad. And sometimes they pay me, sometimes they don't. But it's just really nice to have a place where I can cook one meal and just eat it the rest of the week and kind of use leftovers and save money that way. I'm not cooking as much food. I'm just making one larger portion of the same food. And when I can use ingredients from their pantries, I can get creative and save money as well. And when I'm at a house sit, I very rarely leave. That's kind of my upselling point when I'm talking to potential people that I will be house sitting for. I'm like, hey, yo, look, I will never leave the house and I will be with the animals 24/7. How's that sound? But it's true. If I ever do leave, it's to get groceries or to go to the gym because I genuinely just am a homebody at heart. And so it's really nice to just stay at home. And so then I barely use any gas. Like, I had 3 vlogs from a house sit that I was at for 3 weeks earlier this year, and at that house sit, I was there for almost a month, and I did not get gas one time because I very rarely left the house, or if I did leave the house, it was like right around the corner and back, you know? So I guess to the point. In a 1 week long house sit, I spent $84. Now, this was mostly food. Actually, it was almost entirely food. And that's because this house that I was staying at, they didn't have very much stuff left in their fridge or their pantry because they were actually going to be gone for a full month, but I was just staying for 1 week and then their friend was taking over. So I didn't really get to eat any of their food, so that's why my food cost was about $65. And then the extra $9 was something that I ordered on Amazon to add to my car. So it was like me prepping for my next car camping trip. So I don't know if that technically counts as cost during a house sitting job because I didn't need it during the house sit, but yeah, my costs are definitely significantly lower when I'm doing house sitting jobs. And so that's why, like, even if they don't pay me, if I'm at their house for a week or longer, it's worth it to me because I can save money. So I hope this gives you a better look at how much it costs to live out of your car or to do pet sitting and just travel full-time in general. I've made a few other budget-related videos in the past about traveling abroad. If you're interested in those, I will link those in the cards here. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, let me know, were you surprised? How much do you spend in a week? I'm kind of curious. I feel like I'm a very frugal person, so I'm curious what other people spend in a week. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, stick around, and I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Bye!